You know, I've been on the internet for a long time. It takes a lot to actually surprise me or piss me off, but man, every now and then, something still manages to do both. I ran into one of those takes the other day and it went something like this.
Spurs haven't changed anything on the roster. Adding a backup big and to rookies is not even comparable to the top of the West teams.
Now, I'm not going to waste time breaking this one down line by line. The first half literally cancels out the second half, and the whole thing is just a steaming pile of nonsense. Here's the truth. The Spurs are one of the NBA teams whose starting lineup and overall talent level went through the biggest changes this past year. So while wembanyama's out there on vacation, apparently trying to injure himself again and again in every video, and Bryant is becoming San Antonio's new fan favorite, let's take a little step back and compare where this roster was a year ago to where it is right now. Let's see which direction this thing is headed and where this team is headed next. So let's rewind to the beginning of the 2024-25 season. Starting five squad was like this. CP3, Vassell, Barnes, Sohan, Wembanyama. Off the bench you had Tre Jones, rookie Stephon Castle, Julian Champagnie, Keldon Johnson, Zach Collins. And the third unit, if you can even call it that, was Blake Wesley, Malachi Branham, Mamu, Bassi, and Sissoko. Now fast forward to early July. Here's what we've got today. The biggest changes? Instead of 39-year-old Chris Paul, your starting PG is now De'Aaron Fox. Instead of Tre Jones as the backup, you've got the young phenom Dylan Harper. The 15th guy on the roster, Sidy Cissoko, out. Bryant in, Mamu's gone, and no one's been signed to replace him yet. Zach Collins, the backup big, went to Chicago in the Fox deal, and Kornet took his place. Let's start with the one spot on the roster that actually regressed, at least for now. Sandro Mamukelashvili left for Toronto, and the Spurs haven't signed a replacement yet. Hopefully, just not yet. And man, Mamu was a fan favorite. Always high energy, always ready, and he had some real moments. Like that wild game against the Knicks, 34 points in 19 minutes. That's not just wild, that's a literal NBA record. No one's ever scored that much in under 20 minutes. Also, my personal big shout out to Sandro for his elite taste in TV shows. But also, let's be real, Mamu was outside the rotation. No matter how fun he was, in total he wasn't changing games. The worst thing the Spurs could have done in that spot is to overpay him. Like, give him the same $5.5 million as Toronto offered, and still treat him like the 12th guy in the rotation. So yeah, good luck in Canada, Sandro. Once a Spur, always a Spur, but let's be honest, this wasn't some devastating loss in terms of on-court value. Now let's talk real upgrades. Chris Paul out, De'Aaron Fox in. CP3 brought leadership, stability, and helped the team win more than people expected. Off the floor too, he was huge for development. His impact on the young guys is going to be felt in that locker room for a long time. So signing him was a smart, calculated move that paid off. But we all knew this was a short-term rental, and Prime Fox and almost 40 CP3 definitely are two very different levels of player. I think a lot of people forgot that Fox is a legit star in his prime. That's a huge upgrade. Now, technically Paul is still unsigned and could end up back in San Antonio. But honestly, I kinda hope he doesn't. The word is he still sees himself as a starter, and we already saw how bad that got last season. When he shared the floor with Fox, that defense was straight up painful. Chris helped a ton last year, and for what the Spurs were trying to do, develop the young core and land another top draft pick, he was perfect. But this season, the mission's changed. Now it's time to move forward, and Fox fits that plan way better. Let's keep it moving. Speaking of point guards, the Spurs didn't just upgrade the starter spot, they leveled up the backup PG position too. Tre Jones out, Dylan Harper in. I mean, that's not just an upgrade, that's a whole new tier. Tre is a solid old school point guard, pass first, not much of a scorer, limited size, not super athletic, and Dylan Harper is the total opposite. Modern PG prototype. 6.6 in shoes, elite handle, ridiculous finishing, converting nearly 70% at the rim. Tre was clearly a backup, trying to help the second unit play smart and stable. But Dylan, this kid's a future star. Sure, maybe he comes off the bench for the first few months, like till New Year's. But long term, using him as backup, that's like using a microscope to hammer nails. Harper has legit star upside, and the Spurs have to let him cook. No matter how you slice it, that's another huge leap in talent. Next up, let's shift from guards to wings. City Sissoko, 2023 draft 44th pick and deep bench guy, also went out in the Fox trade. His replacement? Carter Bryant. We haven't seen much from Carter yet, just one game in Summer League, so it's too early for bold takes. But still, it's obvious. His upside is way higher than City's, another huge roster upgrade. Last one, Zach Collins, Luke-Kornet swap. On paper, that's an upgrade too. Zach was supposed to be a stretch 5. They even gave him $17 million a year for that role, but he never really fit next to Wemby. And his jumper wasn't reliable at all. I'm not here to trash Zach, but I'll say this anyway. One of the best parts of the Fox trade wasn't just getting him, it was also shipping Zach out. And I know I'm not alone in that. Look, fans will remember Sandro fondly, but with Zach, my honest reaction was just, thank God he's gone. Now Luke, that's a smart, solid big. Great rim protection, rebounds, plays hard, has championship experience, and he's right in his prime. The only bummer is that he stopped shooting threes the last couple years, and man, that would have been nice for this team. But still, the vibes are good. Celtics fans were all over the comments of my last video saying nothing but nice things about him. And that doesn't happen often when a player leaves. I think Luke gonna fit in just fine in San Antonio. Another low-key upgrade. So what's the bottom line here? The Spurs swapped out 2 backup-level point guards for 2 stars, a deep bench wing for a high upside rookie, and an injury-prone backup big for a smarter, steadier one. The only loss is Mamu, and there's still plenty of offseason left to find someone for that spot. So yeah, that original take we started with, total garbage. And here's the kicker. Aside from all the new faces, the Spurs also have serious internal growth coming. Shaolin Wemby's heading into year 3. Devin Vassell isn't rehabbing surgery all summer like he was last year. Sohan's working on his jumper. Fox got his finger issues fixed. Castle's no longer a rookie and putting in work with one of the best individual trainers in the game, the Guard Whisperer. This roster is a compressed spring, just waiting to snap. All these dudes have legit breakout year potential. But hey, more on that in a future video. Go hit that sub button, by the way. If even half this stuff hits, oh man, the Spurs are taking off like a rocket next year. And one more thing about that bad take. Why do people even feel like the Spurs aren't getting better when the facts clearly say they are? I think it's because the Spurs do everything slow and steady, step by step, move by move. Just gradually building this thing toward the top. There aren't many flashy trades, though the Fox deal was straight up robbery and not enough people are talking about it. KD didn't land here. Giannis didn't either. So now some fans are getting impatient and loud about it. But the progress is real. And it's massive. And I'm totally sure this next Spurs season gonna be pure cinema.